Apple recently introduced their iPhone 13 series, and I have here my brand spanking new blue iPhone 13 Pro Max. And I bought this phone specifically for one thing, basically one feature: the cameras. If you're familiar with my YouTube channel, I'm filming all of my content using my phones, and I was hoping that the cameras on the iPhone 13 Pro Max would be a significant improvement over the current 12 mini that I'm filming with. And one very interesting feature that caught my eye during Apple's presentation, in which they hyped immensely, is the new cinematic mode, aka portrait video in Apple's speak. Now, Apple went so far in hyping this up that they hired Oscar-winning cinematographers to actually film videos with the iPhone 13s to highlight this new cinematic video. And obviously, if professionals are involved, no matter the hardware or the software that the phone is using, they will find a way to highlight its qualities. But really, how well does it stack up in the hands of a complete noob such as me? And more importantly, how well does it stack up against, well, a competitor that can do the same thing? And I happen to have such a competitor like right here. This is Samsung's Z Flip 3, a phone that I absolutely love, and to my amazement, this actually does portrait video as well. And I think it's a competitor for the 13 Pro Max and the 13 Pro respectively, because they're pretty much in the exact same price bracket, around $1,000 give or take. On paper at least, the iPhone should have the advantage. The Z Flip 3 is not Samsung's best effort in terms of cameras, and is not actually their flagship. But I've been using the Z Flip 3 to film a lot of my videos on this channel for the past month or so, and I've been genuinely impressed. So today I thought I'd do a very simple experiment. I'll put these two head to head in the exact same surroundings, in the exact same conditions, using their default microphones and using the cinematic mode and the portrait video mode respectively, so that we can really tell which one is better. Now, we're going to be off to a rather choppy start if you notice the quality of the video, because the iPhone can actually only film cinematic video in 1080p 30 fps. So I was kind of disappointed and bummed about this. So I'm going to edit this entire video at 1080p 30 fps, including the video shot with the 12 mini, to see just how well these phones stack up. The iPhone 13 is capable of changing the focus in this shot on editing on the phone just after shooting, but I'm not going to do any of that. I'm going to leave the footage unaltered. Also worth noting is that the lighting conditions are, well, not really ideal. I'm not in direct sunlight, but I do have a couple of studio lights in front of me that should provide a more than adequate level of brightness for each phone. And also, I'm going to keep this anonymous. We're going to refer to them as phone A, phone B, or whatever else comes to mind. I'm going to split this video in actually a couple of sections. We're going to use first the selfie cameras on both phones. Both are capable of portrait video with the front-facing cameras, and then obviously the main sensors on the back. Now, I'm not going to tell you which phone is which until after these shots are done, so that you can make up your own mind which actually looks better. So we've started shooting, and I can see already there's a difference in the colors of the two phones, but let's see how the footage actually looks like. So on my left is going to be phone A, and on my right is going to be phone B. So first, the shot on phone A to my left, it looks actually pretty decent. I'm moving around a little bit, but the focus still seems to be there. There's a blur effect behind me, and I know for a fact that portrait video is shooting. Let's see if it actually changes focus. So let's use Kylo here a little bit, and I think it manages to focus quite decently. Not dramatically bad, not dramatically good, but for instance, the lightsaber here is obviously being blurred when I'm moving it away from my face. So the phone is actually still focusing on my face almost exclusively. Now let's move over to phone B here to my right. Again, I can see it's tracking my face. It seems to be shooting portrait video. Obviously, there's a blur effect behind me. Looks pretty fluid and pretty cool as well. Let's see how it stands up to the infamous Kylo test. So here we have Kylo, and Kylo is now sort of in focus, but not really. He's in focus when it's clearly that he's in front of me, but the phone actually refuses to focus him at all unless I keep him in front of me. And not a fantastic effect there, but obviously I didn't expect it from neither of these because they're designed to work with human faces. With that being said, let's move to the second part of the video, doing the same shot all over again, this time with the main sensor for both devices. So we're gonna start with phone A just like last time. I'm going to look straight at it, straight into the lens. Let's see how actually well it blurs the background behind me. Now let's do the infamous Kylo test yet again. I don't know if the rear camera can actually focus Kylo. I don't really expect it. The phones are actually designed to work with human subjects, so I don't really expect a toy to actually change focus, but I think the results on phone A will be kind of solid. Now I'm moving to phone B. Again, in my opinion, this phone takes pretty good portrait videos and or cinematic videos. Again, they should look pretty decent. I can't see either of them right now because obviously the lenses are towards me. I don't see the displays. Let's try the Kylo Ren test here as well. I don't expect the result to change that much compared to phone A because, again, it's probably biased towards human subjects. Again, the same issue here. The toy is in front of me, so it should be the subject of the focus, but I don't really think that's going to be the case. Okay, and as a final part of this quick test, we have a couple of short videos filmed outdoors with both phones, phone A and phone B respectively, showing how the main cameras behave outdoors, how good the stabilization is, and how well they can maintain that kind of bokeh effect around the video. And now time for the big reveal. Phone A was the Samsung. Phone B was the iPhone. Which one did a better job overall impressing you? I'm going to be very honest. The iPhone clearly wins the test when it comes to outdoor shooting. It has much better video stabilization overall. The image appears quite a little bit sharper and a little bit better. But the Samsung has better colors in my opinion. More vibrant, and on its display it looks a lot better. However, overall, clearly the iPhone wins this test, but it's actually not really as impressive as I would have thought. Let me explain myself. Why do I say that? Well, very simply, yes, outdoors the iPhone wins without a doubt, but when you move to the indoor shots, I think the Z Flip 3 more than holds its own. For the Z Flip 3, Samsung made absolutely zero mentions of any sort of portrait video. It's buried somewhere in a spec sheet, and I think they added it just because they can. Camera hardware in the Z Flip 3 is not Samsung's best, so they didn't emphasize this part of the phone. However, for the iPhone, the situation is dramatically different. They went all out on the new cinematic video features. They hired Hollywood cinematographers to showcase the abilities of this phone, and as such, they built an enormous expectation for it. And while I think it has some features that are absolutely amazing, like for instance the ability to edit the focus in the video after you've shot the scene, I think it overall doesn't impress as much as it should. For instance, the frame rate is capped at 1080p 30 FPS, which is a little bit mind-boggling because, well, if you're going for a cinematic experience, that's filmed at 24 FPS. If you're going for a more vlog-style video, that's 60 FPS. You don't have the ability to actually choose in the iPhone, and that's a bit of a problem. As a side note, the Samsung can actually do 1080 60 FPS with both the front-facing camera and the rear sensors as well, so I'm really disappointed in Apple not giving us a higher frame rate on their device. I think the cinematic mode is absolutely fantastic if you want to capture, let's say, family moments. You're filming your kid, for instance, blowing out candles for their birthday cake on their 4th birthday. This is going to be amazing because, yeah, you can edit the video afterwards, you can change the focus. This is absolutely fantastic. But if you're a Hollywood filmmaker, you're not going to be replacing your very expensive cameras with the iPhone Pro Max anytime soon. It's not yet at the level that Apple presented it. In 2 or 3 years' time, there's a definite possibility that our day-to-day phones will actually replace much more expensive dedicated cameras. But we're not there yet. And for me, this means I was hoping to buy the 13 Pro Max and film my entire content on my phone as I have for the entire year, that doesn't seem to be in the cards, and I'm probably going to be upgrading to a dedicated camera in the near future. With that being said, as usual, thanks for watching. If you found the video interesting, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss any of my future content. Thanks again, and I'll catch you next time.